Let's talk Tanya for the 20th of Elul of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we started this letter, which is addressed to a certain community which had stopped giving charity to the Alter Rebbe's fund for the poor people in Israel, or maybe they started giving less money. And the Alter Rebbe told them that halachically speaking, as long as they have their basic necessities and they can survive, because the people in Israel do not have their basic necessities, they need food for their children and wood to keep their houses warm. So halachically speaking, they're still required to give that tzedakah, and we do not apply the rule of chayecha koidmin, that you take precedence over others in such an instance. That's the letter of the law. And now the Alter Rebbe turns to Chassidim and says, but I want you to go beyond the letter of the law. Meaning, I don't want you to start thinking, do I have my basic necessities? Do I not have my basic necessities? Am I obligated according to Allah? Am I not obligated according to Allah? The Alter Rebbe says, please stop thinking, stop making calculations, push yourself, and try to give. Why is that? The Alter Rebbe gives not one reason, not two reasons, but actually the Alter Rebbe will give 5 reasons why this is important. Reason number 1, the Alter Rebbe says, is that when you give charity with calculation and you stop and you say, am I supposed to give? Am I not supposed to give? Is this justified or mandated according to the law? Then we know that Hashem reciprocates in kind. What we do, we cause that kind of reaction above. Do we want that when we turn to Hashem and ask Hashem for tzedakah, that Hashem should also stop and make these calculations and say, am I supposed to give? Am I not supposed to give? Is this request justified or not? No, we want Hashem to give. When we act in that same way, we cause Hashem to reciprocate in kind. The second reason is a similar one, which is, this is something that we've talked about many times in Tanya, which is that our actions have a reaction above. Therefore, when we are kind and merciful, when we open up our hearts and we allow that feeling to take expression, so Hashem does the same. So when we give charity, that causes God to give us charity. Now, when we don't give a charity, it doesn't make a difference why we're not giving charity. The excuses aren't relevant over here. The fact is we haven't flipped that switch, and we have not activated God's mercy. And since all of us needs God's mercy and compassion, Alter Rebbe says, give tzedakah, even if it's hard, even if halachically you're not required to, because this way you're activating God's mercy upon us also. The third reason the Alter Rebbe says is that tzedakah, as we've learned in Igeres HaTshuva, is a form of penance. And since all of us have messed up, all of us have done sins, tzedakah actually helps us correct those sins and protects us against any punishment that might be coming our way because of those sins. And therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, view the tzedakah as a living expense. It's absolutely pivotal they give tzedakah in order to atone for the sins that you have done. Number 4, the Alter Rebbe says, he says, we are maminim b'nei maminim. We are believers, the children of believers. And we all believe that when we give tzedakah, we're not giving anything. We're not giving a gift. We're actually just loaning money. We're lending money to who? To God. And we know that tzedakah, God pays back over here in this world, and he pays back double. It's an investment. It's the best investment that there is. So you're going to say, I'm not halachically required to give tzedakah. Okay, don't view it as tzedakah. Don't view it as a gift. Look at it as an investment. We all believe that tzedakah, again, God repays not in the world to come, in this world, and not once, but at least twice. Then the Alter Rebbe continues and gives another reason, a last reason, and he says that the sages talk about someone, if you're in a society and the others, your colleagues, have all enlisted for a mitzvah cause, it's very important to be part of that and not to separate yourself and to opt out. And here also the Alter Rebbe says this is something the Chassidim have all taken it upon themselves to support the other Chassidim in Israel, and it's important not to opt out of this important mitzvah opportunity. The obvious lesson from this letter to us is the importance not only of giving tzedakah, but also not making calculations when we give tzedakah. So very easy when we give tzedakah, what am I required to? What am I not required to give? Is it justified? Is it not justified? And for all the reasons that we mentioned today, it's important that we just give. We give with an open hand and an open heart. With this, we concluded this letter. Tomorrow we start the next letter, chapter 17, Igeres HaKodesh, another letter also on the topic of tzedakah.